Hello, guys. Welcome. I want to welcome Luz. She is the co-CEO of, I done forgot already.
Industry icon.
Industry icon, yes. She is an amazing coach. I've worked with her myself, with her and Matt, and I have learned quite a bit from them in just that short span. But at the time, I had so much going on, so I couldn't do both. But they are amazing coaches, and I'm going to turn it over to her so she can talk about what she does.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Shelly. And can we just all agree that Shelly has the biggest heart, has this incredible energy, and we are all lucky to have Shelly, to know her, to have her on this planet. So, Shelly, I just want to recognize your light. I want to recognize who you are, what you do, and this incredible gift that you have to bring people together. It really is this beautiful thing that you can do very well. So. You're very welcome. And so everybody, great to meet you. I think we'll be able to see your comments here in the chat box. And Shelly, are we live on your profile or are we live in a specific group? Just so I know in case there are some comments coming up, I can know where to look.
It's live on my profile.
On your profile. Perfect. Okay, well, hello, everybody. And so again, my name is Luz Gonzalez, and I'm the co-founder and co-CEO of Industry Icon. And you might be wondering, what is Industry Icon? So what we do is we work with people who are coaches, consultants, or who are small business owners who have specifically a service-based business. And you might be struggling, you might have been trying to, or currently are struggling, or are thinking maybe in the future of getting your business presence online. And the biggest struggle that you may have is attracting clients, right? And not all clients are the same. There are clients that can come into your business and allow you to really create a life of freedom, really create a life that you feel very passionately about, and be able to live from this incredible work that you do. And then there are other ways of doing business where you can feel like you're working so hard and you're trying all the things, and it's just, we call it the busy but broke, practitioner, where you're working, and you feel like you're doing all the things, but it's just not working. The clients aren't saying yes. The money's not coming in. And so for anyone who has felt that struggle, right? We just heard from this guy who he said, "Hey guys, I've been paying for Kajabi for an entire year and I haven't made a single client," right? And so the just mentioning that, so you're not alone. And now there are good news about this. It doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be complicated. See, the thing is that sequence matters. And so what does that mean? We have the 7 steps to profitability. And what I'm happy to do is I'm happy to share my screen so you guys can see those 7 steps, because I know that for me, I'm pretty kinesthetic, and if I can see it, then I can remember it better. So just we have 7 steps. And for the people, maybe it's you and you're like, like you were talking about me, I feel like I've been trying all the things, I feel like I've been doing all the things that the gurus say I should do, I've been going to all of the webinars, and I've been signing up for the courses, and I have the emails, and I've been doing all the things and watching all the YouTube channels and listening to the podcast, but it's still not working. It's not that it's not working because that specific strategy on its own doesn't work. And it's also not about you. It's about timing. There are specific strategies that are really good for people who are more intermediate. There are specific strategies that are good for people who are a little bit more advanced. And then there are strategies that are for people who are starting, right? If you are starting and you don't have an audience, right? You're starting from zero. So I'll share my my background. For example, I wasn't always in this world. I actually used to be in the legal world. I went to law school and I hated it. It was terrible. And then I decided to make the switch into this world. I didn't know any, I didn't have this like network of clients that I had just, already, all of a sudden I'm going to be, doing coaching. I have thousands and tens of thousands. I have like 50,000 followers. The majority of people that I knew were in the legal space, and they weren't going to be my clients. And so maybe you have found yourself in that place where you are either new, or you're like, I don't have a following of, I may have hundreds of friends. You may have a couple of hundred followers. Maybe you even have a couple thousand followers, but you don't already have 10,000, 20,000, 50,000 followers, a YouTube channel that has just, like 20,000 people. And so if you do, the strategy for you is different from the person that doesn't, right? And so the majority, I'm going to speak to the person that doesn't, because that's the majority of people, that's like 99, percent of the people that that we find out there are on that boat. We've worked with the people that have, they've had a list of 300,000. We've worked with people that have, their audience on Instagram is, 100,000, 30,000, 10,000. And the strategy, again, is going to be very different for that specific person. But they're not the majority. They're not the norm. The norm is a person who is wanting to build their business. And again, so this will be really good for you if you are building, or if you have a business that is a local business. So you have services to sell, whether it's local or online, it's still totally good for you. And if you have some expertise that you want to turn into a business, so coach, consultant, some sort of expert, course creator, the advice that we'll cover will be really good for you then. So if that's you and you don't have a huge following, then what may have happened for you is that you started paying attention to strategies that just were not going to allow you to pay the rent. They weren't going to allow you to pay for your bills. And there are so many there's like shiny object syndrome on the internet. There's like the new thing. Oh my God, everybody, we all need NFTs. We all need to be on the blockchain. And it's like, whoa, calm down. You know what you really need? You need to have clients who are really excited to pay you multiple thousands of dollars. That's what you really need. Once we're able to have consistency in doing that, then we can look into the new shiny thing and see which one's relevant for our business. And that can happen as well when we're looking at social media platforms, right? We can get a little bit carried away and think, oh my God, well, I need to be on Instagram, and I need to be on TikTok, and I need to be on Clubhouse, and I need to be on LinkedIn, and I need to be showing up on all of these every single day, and I need to be posting 10 times a day. Calm down. No, you don't. You don't have to be everywhere. You don't have to be all things for all people. You don't have to be doing everything. So hopefully what you're hearing from me is that you can take a deep breath and that you really can do this. You really can do this. But to do this, we have to follow the recipe. Okay? So I want you guys to imagine making a cake. I like to compare building a business to making a cake. If I were to say, hey, I need you to make a chocolate mousse cake right now, or I am going to, I don't know, I'm going to take your car, right? Like, I need you have to, on the spot, make a chocolate mousse cake. If you ask me, I wouldn't know how to do that. I'd be like, I think I need butter. I think I need eggs. I think I need flour. I don't really know in what order things go. The same thing is true for your business. While the elements are all out there, they need to be applied in the right timing, in the right way, right? And in the right amounts. And so building a business is just like following a recipe. So if I said, hey, I need you to make this chocolate mousse cake, here's the recipe, you wouldn't be freaking out. You would think, yeah, I can do this. I can do this. It might not be the most amazing cake in the world, but I will get you a chocolate mousse cake, right? The same thing is true for your business. And so what is the recipe? The good thing is that the recipe is easily accessible. We won't have all the time in the world here to go through that recipe, but we literally have a training just about that. If you guys go to industryicon.com, that's icon with a K, so industryicon.com, you guys can go to we have a free resources hub, and you can find a ton of free trainings. We have free ebooks, free trainings. We have also things that you can pay for that are like $1 or $7, right? So we have some really easy, accessible things. And at some point you're like, that was amazing. We want more support from you. Then we have a way that we can have a conversation with you to see which is going to be the right way for us to support you. But back to the recipe, right? So there are 7 main steps to our recipe. When we break down our recipe, how do we build a profitable business recipe? We break it down into 3 main chunks. The 3 main chunks are going to be our pillars of success. Just like we have laws of physics, we have these, like, if you jump out a window, you're gonna fall down, right? It's not just if we, like, I'm gonna change the laws. No. Gravity is here. Gravity is here. We can't escape it. There are laws of business that we must adhere to if we want to be successful. And there are many people that think that, one, they don't know that there are laws of business that must be followed, because I don't think we talk about them enough. 2, some people think that gravity doesn't apply to them, and they think they can jump out of a window and fly, and what they find is that they actually can't, right? And so we need to, it's our responsibility as people who decided to build a business, right? It's our responsibility to then take our toolbox and add the right tools so we can be successful. That's our job. Our job is, so again, I wasn't always in business, and there was a point where I came into the world of business, and I don't know if you guys have ever felt this, but I felt, I don't even know if I belong here. I don't even know if this is for me. I don't know, like, I don't know how to build a business. I don't come from the world of business. So guys, I speak to you from a place of experience. I don't speak to you from a place of like, I just like, everything was easy. No, it wasn't. And we created this recipe because we know what it's like. We know from experience what it's like. And so when I came into this world, there were bad recipes out there. Maybe you have followed some of those bad recipes. But when we look at those, again, there's going to be your 3 main chunks. The 3 main chunks we need to pay attention to are going to be build, monetize, and scale. So you guys remember I said there's 7 steps. The 7 steps fall into these 3 pillars. And these 3 pillars are the laws of business success, right? The laws that we must follow for profitable businesses. And so we have 7 steps that fit into these 3 main pillars. The 3 main pillars are build, monetize, and scale. For the majority of you, you don't even have to pay attention to pillar number 3. You just have to pay attention to pillar 1 and pillar 2. And guess where we begin? We began with pillar 1. And here's where we need to pay attention. We can't skip pillar 1. And the majority of people who are hurting in building a business that makes enough money consistently, they try to skip pillar 1. And they just went to pillar 2, in where we do the marketing and the branding and all the fancy things and all the things that people on the internet and on, webinars and all these trainings, they tell you, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that. The majority of you, eventually you have to. You don't even have to do that crazy. You do have to do marketing. You do have to have good branding. You absolutely must focus on creating sales system that will lead you to success. These are part of the laws of success. Profitable and successful businesses are these steps, but they must be followed in the right steps, right? So we can't go straight there. I mean, you can, it's just going to be harder. Would you guys prefer easy or hard? What about you, Shelley? Are you I'll do this you can get the same result, and you can either get the result doing it more easy or the same result just working really, really hard. Which one would you prefer? You're on mute.
Oh, it muted me again. Oh, I would rather do the easy.
The easy. And I would hope that everybody listening to this, you would as well. We don't want to create extra friction and extra work just for the heck of. I don't know about you, but I'm busy. Like, if I can get the result I'm after, faster rather than sooner rather than later, then I'm gonna focus on that. So with that in mind, we must adhere to the principles that are introduced in pillar number 1. Pillar number 1 includes steps 1, 2, 3. Remember that this is, and here's what I can do is I will share my screen so you guys can see and not just conceptually understand what I'm talking about. So give me a second. And I will pull this up so you guys can see it. Again, I'm more of a visual kinesthetic learner, so the more that I can actually see what somebody's talking about, the more it makes sense to me. All right. So, and let me pull this up here. All righty. Okay, so let me share my screen now. Share screen. Here we are. Okay. And I think, Shelly, you are going to have to, I think you take me out and just put in the presentation. Or I think you just click on the presentation and it'll show that instead of me. There we go. Perfect. All right. So we were talking about 7 steps total. The majority of you are not going to have to focus on all 7. The majority of you, your success will come on 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now you're like, Luz, you're just talking about numbers. What does that even mean? Okay, let's dive into what that means. So let's dive in. So like I said, the 7 steps are broken down into 3 pillars. The 3 pillars, pillar number 1, build. Pillar number 2, monetize. Pillar number 3 is scale. So let's begin with pillar 1, which includes 3 steps. The first step is alignment. We want to make sure that we are building a business that in 3 years and 5 years and 10 years from now, we still feel really good about, and you don't end up creating a golden cage for yourself, right? So that's where we begin, making sure that, if the reason that you created a business is because you want to have more time with your kids, if the reason that you created your business is because you want to have location freedom and you want to be able to travel and see the world, we need to know those things so you build the right type of business model. Because guess what? Not all business models will equate to the life that you are after. And so we really have to have an understanding of what success looks like for you. And there is no right or wrong in terms of what success is. Success and happiness for me may look very different from success and happiness for Shelly, right? And it doesn't make one right, doesn't make one wrong. It makes them different. And those differences are fantastic. And it's because of those differences that we need to check why are you even building this business in the first place? And that answer will impact the sort of business model that you focus on and create. So then let's move on to steps number 2, 3, and 4, and 5. The majority of you, listen up. This is where your fortunes will be made or lost. The majority of you are struggling. Okay. We have worked with so many people, and so many people they feel stuck. They feel, again, like many people. Some people get lucky and immediately, like, it's working out for them. And then for some people, it just feels like a struggle. So if for you have felt like it's a struggle for you, the majority of you who are in that place, it's because you have a problem with step number 2. Step number 2 is the profitability step. The profitability step is either it makes the rest of the steps much easier for you or much harder for you. And so if you have ever felt, again, I'm doing all the things, I'm building all the things, but the clients just aren't coming, something broke, something happened to your business building model in step number 2. Something may have happened in 3. It's definitely not a branding issue. It's not a I mean, I can't say definitely. I would have to see it. For somebody that I was speaking to, they actually are doing pretty well with their market research. They have people who are coming in. They have clients coming in, but their online presence totally sucks. And so with her, I was like, your main thing is actually step number 4, but that's actually the minority. For the majority of people that we speak to, the majority of your problems are going to be in step 2 and 3. So again, step number 2 is the profitability step. In step number 2, this is where we ensure that you're not just going to be wasting your time building a business that doesn't get clients. You will have proof, you will have evidence that people want to buy the thing that you think that you are bringing to the market. And so I used to work in Silicon Valley, and spent a lot of time around engineers and the startup types. And if you guys have been around that group of people, there's a lot of talk of like the lean startup, right? Lean startup methodology. And what lean startup methodology speaks to is you don't build code, you don't build apps until you have tested something that requires way less work and you have proof, real evidence that people want this thing. What does that mean for you? You also are going to have a minimal viable product or service, and you are at a minimum going to charge $1,000 for that. So say for us, we don't allow our clients to charge anything less than $1,000. Why? Because mid-ticket, so this is what we're talking about with $1,000 and up, we're going to call that high ticket. Mid-ticket is going to be between, for us, as we define it, it's going to be between $99 and $1,000. And then low ticket is going to be anything that's going to be below $99. Mid-ticket and low ticket, especially if you have a small audience, these are intermediate and advanced strategies. They are not beginner strategies. Mid-ticket and low ticket is not how you pay your rent. It's not how you pay your bills. It's not how you build a thriving business. And if you can't, and some of you are going to see yourselves in this statement, for a lot of you in your products, your services that you've put together, the only people who have bought have been your friends and family. The only people who have bought are people who know you. But when it comes to selling to a stranger, the thing that you've created, strangers, it's like you're invisible. Like there's nothing there. They're not connecting. That's a step 2 problem. Potentially some step 3. That's a step 2 problem. You should have the ability to sell something at $1,000 or more to a complete stranger on the internet or in person. Internet is harder. Like, I hope you guys caught that. We have this myth that selling on the internet, it's like the end all be all. With our clients, we actually really encourage a hybrid of using the power of the internet to grow what's already working for you, but to not forget that the offline world is actually super powerful. So I want you guys to remember that offline is actually super powerful. So you want to have the ability to sell something that is $1,000 or more to a complete stranger on the internet or off the internet, and then being super thrilled and excited to say yes. And not just say yes, because a lot of people, maybe some of you have experienced this. You're super excited about your idea, and you start telling the world, and everybody says, "Oh, that's an amazing idea. That's wonderful. That's great. I love it." And as soon as you go to charge them, crickets. Nobody wants to buy. Nobody wants to buy. That's because we don't test with free. Hear me again. We never test with free. If you are testing with free, you are not building sustainability and profitability and actually, again, building a profitable business. We don't test with free. For our clients, they test, the lowest they can test with is $1,000. And what do we mean by testing? That means they are putting offers out into the world. And for this test to have worked, somebody needs to have taken $1,000 out of their pocket, out of their bank account, and needs to have paid our clients $1,000. That's when your test was positive. That's when it worked. When that happens and you're able to put together enough value for a complete stranger that they are willing to give you $1,000 of their hard-earned money, right? They are like, yes, here's $1,000. What you created is so valuable and I want it so much that I am going to give you 1,000 of these important dollars that I built through hard work. Here it is. When we do that, we know the market has spoken to us. We know that something is working. That's when you pass the test. That is when we can really focus on the monetization. That's when we can really focus on 4 and 5. Doesn't mean that you can't spend any time on 4 and 5. You will touch 4 and 5. But too many of you think, oh, it's just my marketing stuff. It's my like sales. So here I'm for, especially for someone who's more on the beginner side, here's what's really important. 2, super critical, make it or break it for your business. 3, super important, make it or break it for your business. What step 3, we haven't really spoken about step 3. Step 3 is where you actually create your offer. You create your package. You create, like, what's the thing that you're bringing to the market? What is it? What's it called? You know, what's the pricing for it? How many variations of it are you bringing to the market? What's your positioning around it? All of that happens in step number 3. And step number 2 is where you figure out, who are my clients? How do I talk to them? How do I talk to them in a way that when I speak, they go, oh, me, that's me. Step number 2 is you're also looking at, like, where are they hanging out? And then what is the proof that they have paid for this in the past, right? So that's step 2 and 3. A lot of you come to us and you're focused on step number 4, which is like, oh, it's my website. I just need my website to be better. Or it's like, I just don't know how to, do videos on social media, or I just don't know how to, make my Instagram look pretty enough. You guys have questions about that. So again, what I would say, especially if you're a beginner, you're not at a consistent $5,000 to $10,000 a month. You need to focus on step 2, step 3, branding and marketing do matter. Again, I'm not saying that they are not relevant. They are super important at the right time. It's harder to grow something that doesn't work, right? So steps 2 and 3 actually make sure that it works. And then step 4, what it does is it makes this thing that works go bigger and find more people, right? It's not creating something that nobody wants and being like, here's my thing. And everybody's like, but you think it's cool, but I never asked you for that. I never wanted that, right? And we don't want the market to say that. We want the market to be like, yes, you identified a pressing problem in the world that people are willing to and have paid thousands of dollars for in the past. Now you are going to be rewarded because you listened to the market, and the market said, hey, there's this big problem over here. People are paying money because they want this problem solved. And then you went and you solved the problem, and you solved the problem better than other people. That's when we get into step number 4. And that's where we want to find more people, because guess what? It's a big problem. You should have done your research in step 2. And you want to find all the people so you can solve the problem for as many people as possible. Step number 5 is your sales systems. These are the conversations that you're going to be having with people. And again, for some of you, many of you are going to get stuck. You think you have a marketing and a branding problem. For many of you, what you actually do is you're not talking to enough people. You don't have sales systems, and you may have for all of these things, there's the confidence and then there's the skill set. for some of you on the mindset side, on the confidence and mindset side, some of you have a conflicting relationship with sales. When it comes to sales, you're like I know I'm a business owner and I know I'm supposed to sell my thing, but I hate selling and I hate it when people sell me things. We're going to have to work on that because you can imagine the internal conflict that's happening within you when your livelihood, your baby, like, your baby, and that's what a new business is. It really is. It's a baby. It requires constant attention, constant energy, constant attention. You can't just not pay attention to your baby because it will die. Okay. So this baby, it's, we've done all the things, step 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now we're like, I changed its diaper, I made its bed, I took it out walking, but I don't think the baby needs to eat. I think the baby's going to be fine if I just don't feed it. No, 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 baby will die. Baby will die if we don't feed the baby. That's 5. The fuel and the nourishment and your business staying alive and growing into a beautiful human being that goes and does incredible things in the world is sales conversations, is sales systems. We can't neglect feeding the baby, right? 5 is feeding the baby. Baby must stay alive. And the only way we do that is we have sales systems. That means you know your numbers. You know that, okay, maybe some of you guys don't know your numbers, and that's okay. I want you to get to a place where you know your numbers. You know that if I have, 10 sales conversations, then 30 of them, convert into yeses, right? Like we want to know our conversion rates. We want to know, okay, and so if only, or if like 30%, not only 30% convert to sales, then that means if I want to make this much money, then I must have this many conversations. And if I must have this many conversations, well, that means I need to reach out to this many people, because it's not every single person that I reach out to that actually has a conversation with me. So then what you're looking at is literally hundreds of outreaches per week. Like you literally, our responsibility is to be, because you're going to get a lot of no's, and that's normal. That's okay. And that's why 4 makes it easier for people to say yes. But you still got to get out there and talk to humans. You still got to go out there and talk to real human beings, right? So we have to do the work. We have to get out there. You have to make the calls. Whether it's through Messenger, whether it's cold calling, whether it is, in person, going to networking events, whether it's, you just got to be exposed to enough people and say enough times, hey, here's my offer. Do you want it? Not just like that. There's a way we do this. But you have to share your product or your services with enough people, or otherwise you're going to be the world's best kept secret, right? Like, okay, so you have this thing that can change the world and that can make your clients' lives better, but if nobody knows about it, no one's going to buy. And it's your job. It's our job as business owners to get out there and hit the pavement and know our numbers and talk to a lot of people and make a lot of offers and get better. And it's also our job to love sales. I want to encourage you. I want to invite you that this year be the year that you say, I'm going to fall in love with selling. And let's be honest here. Sales has been done a disservice in the past by many people. People have used sales to trick people, to push product and services down somebody's throat, to make people feel yucky, right? It's not for nothing that for many of us, when we think about sales, we think like, oh, we think of just like high pressure. We think of like people just being like, buy this thing. You don't have to be that way. And things are changing where that's yucky. Like I don't like to be sold to that way. I am definitely not going to sell that way. Like nobody likes to be sold to that way. And more, the market has changed. And when we use these very aggressive sales tactics, people don't like them. There is a way that you can show up with integrity. And there is a way that we can show up really seeing our clients, not their weaknesses, but their strengths. And that's why sales is beautiful, because it's just this beautiful world of seeing your clients for the most powerful version that they are capable of being, and you standing sometimes in the discomfort, in their discomfort of them seeing themselves as someone smaller and less capable, and you saying, I hear you and I see you, and I see your potential. I see your resourcefulness. I know that you are able to create incredible magic that maybe you haven't seen in a while or yet, but I know that's within you. Isn't that so cool? This is what we get to do through sales. Sales can be the most transformative act on the planet. It is the thing that gets your life-changing product or service in the hands of clients. So again, this year, I want you to fall in love with sales, because not only will it change your life, having a different relationship with sales, but it will change a lot of people's lives who you are able to bring into your client base. Because you're not just bringing, if you're anything like our clients and the people we like to work with, you're not just bringing people into your client base because you're like, oh, it's just about the money. It's your responsibility as a business owner to make money. It is. And we believe that with, great power comes great responsibility. And as we believe that as you're bringing in clients, it's your responsibility to do right by them. It's your responsibility to, really provide what you said, to be, and not just what you said, to surprise them with the amount of value that they're getting when they're working for. And if you're doing that, then it's just it completely changes the game of sales. It changes how you show up to your sales conversations, and it really can boost your motivation and reason as to why you're having the sales calls. So that's a quick walking through the 7 steps with a focus on steps 1 through 5, really with a focus on steps 2 to 5, because that's going to be what's most transformative to you guys. And if you guys have additional questions, again, if you're like, oh my God, that was amazing, I want to work with you guys directly, you can find us on Industry Icon. That's with a K, INDUSTRYIKON.com. And then just go to contact us and we'll set up a 15-minute conversation, have a chat with you, walk you through these steps, tell you what's most important to you. And if it sounds like we could help you, then only then we will invite you to a separate conversation in which we will guide you even more deeply into the 7 steps and then tell you which of the best ways would be for us to support you, and if it's going to be a fit, because we don't invite anybody into our programs. And so that's one of the things. If you are like, that was amazing and I want access to your entire resource hub, then again, just go to industryicon.com, icon with a K. There's 2 places you want to go. There's the resources tab, and if you go down there, you will see the free resources hub. There's a ton of trainings there. You can go to our video blog, ton of trainings there. I really encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Ton of really amazing trainings there. And we have our shop where you can buy things anywhere from $1, $7, $47, $100, few $100. And so literally we have built an entire infrastructure to support you in whatever way we can best support you.
Thank you so much. That's awesome. And I know I've seen some of the resources that you guys have had, and I've learned quite a bit from them. So they are some great resources.
That's awesome. That's great. I mean, and I want you guys to learn from practitioners who are doing it, right? So one of the things that we learned and that we like to teach is, if at the end of the day you create and we encourage you guys to lead from a place of value, which is something that's really important to us. But at the end of the day, you put so much value out there that it changes someone's life, and it was free stuff that you put out there, then fantastic. But guess what? That person's never going to forget. And at some point, that person's going to go, you know what? Like, I want to work with you personally. And so don't be afraid to put, I mean, like, don't be afraid. Like, be the person, be the business owner that puts real value out in the world. Because I think too often as business owners, we expect people to trust us, which is give us their money. This whole thing of business, it's all a conversation about trust. It's all trust. And so the currency is trust. The currency that travels through the pipeline is trust. The currency that creates you clients is trust. And so be the leader. Put a ton of resources out there that maybe they'll change people's lives and maybe they'll get them incredible results, for free. We have a ton of resources that will guide you for free or for $1 or for $7. And then if at that point someone's like, cool, that was awesome. And if they say, I want to do more, right? But be the business owner that leads with value. And I know you are, Shelly.
So thanks. I try to, because I know where I've been, so I want to, be able to help someone else too. So
you do it very well.
Well, thank you, and you're awesome as well. And I enjoyed the time that we worked together. I wish I just had more time where I could have focused more on it, but it was awesome.
We're not going anywhere.
You. I want to thank you so much for coming and doing this with us today.
Of course. It was such a pleasure. And if I can support you, Shelly, any further, or anybody who is watching this training, know that that's what we're here for. So always in your corner. You can always find us at industryicon.com. And we have a community. We have a Facebook group where we support our, everybody. You don't just have to be a client. So come into our world. We have a newsletter where every week you get, awesome trainings, and we do events and stuff. So Shelly, you are part of that community, a very valued member. And again, it's so cool to see you doing all the work that you're doing.
Well, thank you. Thank you for stopping by and doing this with us and giving, my, I done lost thought. My people, some value and a way to get a hold of you as well. So that way, if they're aligned with that, then they can reach out to you as well. Because that's what I'm about. I want everybody to be aligned in all areas of their life. So that's the way it should be.
I love that. Amen.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed this interview, and we're going to head off here. So bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.